We have some breaking news from the NHL. We have yet another coaching casualty. The Seattle Kraken are making another coaching change, and there's lots of speculation there could be further changes in their front office. We'll discuss the details coming up next. So welcome back to another video here at Top Shelf Hockey. As I mentioned, we have some breaking news from the NHL. Yet another coaching change is taking place. This one might be the most surprising of all the ones we've seen here as of yet. To be honest, the other ones were not as shocking at all. Dan Bylsma has been let go from the Seattle Kraken after one season. The Kraken, of course, had a 35-41-6 record this past year, 76 points. Of course, that's 2 years in a row now. They've taken a step back. In their second season, they made the playoffs, made the second round. Everything went right. They had tons of players, hit career highs, overachieved. They were the prime candidate team, in my opinion, for a bit of a step back, a bit of a reset, if you will. I thought they were big-time overachievers that year, so I expected some regression last year. It happened. I didn't think it'd be quite to the extent it did, but then it continued this year. And while obviously this is going to be their third coach in their brief NHL history now, we don't know who the new coach is going to be, but it's not going to be Dan Bylsma. So obviously he's out. He put in a lot of years in the American Hockey League, was a great coach for the Seattle Kraken AHL team in Coachella Valley. And, well, obviously patience are running thin. So we'll see who the new head coach is going to be. We don't know as of yet. There's also lots of speculation around, and it's pretty well confirmed by enough sources. This has not been announced by the team yet. But GM Ron Francis appears to be transitioning to a new role, probably that of team president, and it seems like assistant general manager Jason Botterill will be moving into the GM chair. Of course, Jason Botterill had an opportunity before to be a GM for, I think it was 3 years with the Buffalo Sabres. Things did not go overly well, and he was out. Of course, he's been an AGM for quite some time since. Obviously, probably learned a lot. A lot of these executives are, better the second time around. They've learned tons of stuff. Obviously, he knows the team well, knows the roster well. So we will see what happens here, but I would suspect we're going to see, I think it's fair, a decent amount of change within the roster. I mean, this team has been very analytical driven. A lot of the selections they made at the expansion draft were just baffling to me. They went nowhere near the level of success that we saw in Vegas, and I didn't expect that. I mean, to be honest, that wasn't just an unrealistic, thought to be able to outdo the Golden Knights. That was amazing what they did coming out of the expansion draft and how aggressive they were with their picks and the wheeling and dealing that they did. We knew kind of who was running Seattle. We probably wouldn't see the same approach, but some of the picks were just outright ridiculous. They set this team up for failure from the beginning, in my opinion. That's just, I hate to be harsh on them, but it's just realistic. That's just the way it is. And I feel bad for some of the coaches because haven't been given a very good roster. Now, some of the moves they made last offseason were worked out well. Brandon Montour was a great signing. Like I mentioned in the summer, I said this is a good signing. Comes with some risk. Can he still be that performer? He had a lot of injuries towards the end of his time with the Panthers. But a great pickup there. He had a great season. Chandler Stevenson, I thought, was an overpayment. I still do think it was a bit of an overpayment, but he had a good year. It's certainly not a completely awful situation there. But, the team still needs more. They made some other good moves. Getting Kakko, I thought was a good pick. Shane Wright's making some good progression. I know it's been a little while since they've done it by getting Eeli Tolvanen when they did off waivers. That was a good pickup. They've made some good moves. I just think they've set themselves up from the beginning just to not be successful right away. They need that star power. They don't have that star player. Matty Beniers drafted second overall. A good player, has not been able to outdo his rookie season yet in a couple of years since. So, there's a lot to kind of question in Seattle, and we will see what comes next. But it shouldn't be long before we get confirmation of Francis moving into a new role, likely as president, with Botterill taking over as GM. And we'll have to wait and see who the new coach is going to be. There's already some speculation. It could be Rick Tocchet. You have to think they're going to talk. The Vancouver Canucks today had a lot to say, and there's going to be another video coming soon. Jim Rutherford gave some sound bites to really run with. He is great for making headlines, and not in a good way either. And he had a lot to say that was very interesting. When it comes to Rick Tocchet, he did confirm that they would not exercise the team option on his contract. So in his contract, they had the option that the team could choose to extend him this year. They didn't want to do that because they wanted to basically have an extension in place for him should he continue coaching the team. They've made him an offer is what they've said, and it's up to him now to decide if he wants to accept it. So to me, talking to the media the way they did, it's kind of like giving an ultimatum. They made sure they said that the offer to talk would make him the highest paid coach in Canucks history as well. That doesn't really mean anything if he doesn't get his market value. And I'm not so sure that it's going to be anywhere near his market value. So I think they're kind of preparing the fan base for his departure. At least that's my take on it. He's going to have lots of options. A reigning coach of the year from last year. Dealt with a lot of drama this year. So I don't think anybody's pointing the finger at him for his lack of success as a team this year. Could he end up with the Rangers or reunite with JT Miller? That's an option. Could he go to Seattle and with his former teammate Ron Francis? That's an option too. Wouldn't be surprising if he's rated at the top of some of these teams' lists. So I don't know if Seattle will go on that route, but certainly wouldn't be shocking if they did. So let me know your thoughts on this news in the comments. We'll discuss further. Like I said, stay tuned for another video, if not more, coming, depending on what else there is for news here today. But there's definitely going to be a Canucks-related video for sure coming up here shortly. So stay tuned for that. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.